Residents in San Cristobal barricade their streets, preparing for further confrontation with security forces. Thursday kicked off a week-long holiday ahead of Carnival in Venezuela, but there was no sign of tensions easing.
I want to make an appeal to President Maduro, who calls himself the president. This is much too much for him. You know why? Because the country is enduring hunger, because there's no security, there is no health care, there isn't anything. As an administrator, I get nothing. He cannot be in this position any longer.
There were also protests in the capital, Caracas. Tense standoffs between protesters and security forces. The protests come a day after President Maduro hosted a peace conference, but it was a meeting that the main opposition leader decided to skip.
I feel that, with the way this government is behaving, it is extinguishing itself. This government is consuming itself. This government, in the last few days, for example, from the international viewpoint, has generated more questions. There are more unanswered questions regarding the dead, the injured, the tortured victims, and those deprived of their liberty.
Venezuela's foreign minister suggested that Capriles chose not to attend out of fear.
They were not there not because they didn't want to go, but because they were subjected to the blackmail of the neo-fascist and violent groups that control a good part of the communications media and dictate policy to any politician who sits down to talk with the legitimate and democratic government of Venezuela.
Protesters are promising to fill the streets again on Friday. Their plan is to block holiday traffic headed to the country's sun-soaked beaches. Thursday's protests showed President Maduro a harsh reality that despite calling a national holiday, thousands of protesters across the country want to keep up the pressure. Pressure many in the movement hope will lead to a change in government policy or him stepping down, both unlikely in this divided country. Raney, Al Jazeera, Caracas.